Picture this. A body washes up on the Spanish shore. A British officer, handcuffed briefcase still attached. Inside, top secret invasion plans. The Germans pore over the papers. They are real. They are convincing. And they are about to send Hitler's armies racing in the wrong direction. But here's the part nobody knew. This officer was never alive. He was a homeless man from London, poisoned by rat bread. Forgotten in life, but in death, he became the most successful spy of the Second World War. This is the unbelievable story of Glyndwr Michael, the man who never lived as a hero, but died as one. In early 1943, the Allies had finally beaten back Axis forces in North Africa. Churchill called it the end of the first phase. Now came the next step, an invasion of Europe. The target seemed obvious: Sicily. The island was just 100 miles from Africa. From captured airfields in Tunisia, Allied bombers could reach it in less than an hour. Take Sicily, and Italy could be knocked out of the war. But there was a problem. Everyone knew it. German intelligence circled Sicily on their maps in thick red pencil. Hitler was certain the Allies would go there, so they fortified it like a fortress. 230,000 Axis troops, miles of bunkers, minefields, and machine gun nests. Panzer divisions waiting in the hills. If the Allies landed there head-on, it would be suicide. British planners estimated that 3 out of 4 men in the first wave might not survive. Sicily wasn't just a hard target. It was a slaughterhouse waiting to happen. So the question was brutal but simple. How do you convince Adolf Hitler to look somewhere else? The answer came from 2 unlikely intelligence officers: Ewan Montague, a sharp-tongued lawyer turned spy master, and Charles Chumley, an RAF officer with a mustache almost as famous as his eccentric ideas. They remembered a strange old document in naval intelligence nicknamed the Trout Memo. It compared deception to fishing. The bait must float naturally, and the fish must rise willingly.
But who could play the part? The requirements were grim. The body had to look like it had drowned. It had to have no family, no one who would ask questions, and it had to be usable for weeks while the plan was prepared. Then came Glyndwr Michael, a Welsh drifter, homeless in London. One winter night, starving, he ate bread laced with rat poison in an abandoned warehouse. He died alone. No family, no future, forgotten by the world. But for British intelligence, Michael's tragedy was an opportunity. The poison had damaged his lungs in a way that eerily resembled drowning. He was perfect. Montague signed the paperwork. Michael's body was quietly removed from the morgue. His identity was erased, and he was reborn as Major William Martin of the Royal Marines. But a uniform alone wouldn't fool the Germans. To be convincing, Major Martin needed a life. So the spy masters created one. In his wallet, an overdue bank statement showing an embarrassing overdraft. In his pockets, ticket stubs from a London theater. In his jacket, a photo of his fiancée, Pam. Actually a secretary from MI5. There were love letters signed, "All my love, Pam." And even an engagement ring receipt. Every tiny detail made him more real. This wasn't just a corpse. This was a man with a past, a present, and even a future. And then came the masterpiece, a personal letter from Lieutenant General Nye to General Alexander. It casually mentioned that the Allies would strike Greece and Sardinia, while Sicily would only be a feint. To track if the letter was ever opened, they placed a single eyelash inside the envelope. If it was gone when the letter came back, they'd know the Germans had read it. On April 17, 1943, the body of Major Martin was sealed in a steel canister filled with dry ice. It was quietly loaded onto a British submarine, HMS Seraph. Even the crew didn't know what they were carrying. They were told it was top-secret meteorological equipment. For 10 tense days, the submarine slipped through U-boat-infested waters. If it was sunk, the plan would die with it. Finally, before dawn on April 30th, Spain was officially neutral, but crawling with German spies. Within a day, the documents were in the hands of the Abwehr, German military intelligence. They examined everything: the ink, the paper, the watermarks. Everything looked authentic. The documents were flown to Berlin, and soon, they landed on Hitler's desk. On May 12th, at a stormy conference, his generals presented the evidence. Colonel Baron Alexis von Rohen, a respected intelligence officer who, ironically, secretly despised the Nazis, swore the papers were genuine. Hitler slammed the table and declared, "The main assault will be against Greece." He diverted panzer divisions to Greece, sent reinforcements to Sardinia, and even stripped defenses from Sicily itself. When the envelope finally came back to London, the eyelash inside was gone. The Germans had opened it. The plan had worked. July 9th, 1943. In the moonlight, 150,000 Allied soldiers stormed the beaches of Sicily. They had been told to expect slaughter. Many had written farewell letters to their families. But what they found shocked them. Defenses were thin. Resistance was scattered. The German response was confused and delayed. In just 6 weeks, Sicily was in Allied hands. Mussolini's government collapsed. Italy would soon surrender. And it all began with a corpse. Historians estimate that tens of thousands of Allied lives were spared because of Operation Mincemeat. It remains one of the most successful deceptions in military history. After the war, Ewan Montagu traveled to Spain to pay his respects. On the grave in Huelva, the stone reads, "William Martin, Royal Marines. Died on active service." But in smaller letters, the truth was added. Glyndwr Michael served as Major William Martin. A man forgotten in life became indispensable in death. A homeless drifter who never knew he was part of the war fooled Hitler himself. If you think this story is wild, wait until you hear about the spy with a wooden leg.